Did do you regret voting for Donald Trump? Or are you doubling down? Are you standing, as they say, 10 toes down? I voted for him. I'm glad I voted for him. Everything that's happening is things that I anticipated happening. And so, boom, we're here. We're good. Or are you regretting, I'm watching some things that are going on and not pleased at all about that? Is that your position? Let's listen to Kirk Cameron.
Let me remind you of just a few of the things that Trump has done in this second term. One, ended the federal government's assault on peaceful pro-life Americans. He also created a task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias. He effectively abolished the Johnson Amendment. That's been around for forever. He's also defending Christian medical professionals from being forced to participate in gender reassignment surgeries. We can't forget about him securing the border against drug cartels, warlords, human traffickers, and violent criminals. This is not the work of somebody who's hostile to Christian values. He is protecting them for us. Let me remind you.
All right. So you got a chance to see that soundbite. And I'm wondering what your thoughts, comments are. You want to talk about Michael Saint, but maybe you want to talk about Donald Trump. Did you vote for Donald Trump? Did you vote for Donald Trump and regret voting for Donald Trump? Did you vote for Donald Trump and you are excited about what is happening with Donald Trump? I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but I certainly didn't vote for the other candidate that was out there. Wrote in an independent. I'm in Tennessee, so we already knew where those electoral votes were going to go. But I am in East Nashville, and so I get a chance to have a lot of a lot of good discussions about some of these things. Sometimes they're not substantive. Sometimes they are. And I can tell you that the media doesn't report on either side things that they should be reporting to help people really clearly have a view of what's going on. And I've got my thoughts on why that is. But suffice it to say, in speaking about Donald Trump, and this particular report left out the fact that he stopped 6 wars during his administration so far. 6 wars in like 6 months. I mean, he's doing phenomenal things. And here's where we get in trouble. Here's where we're going to get in trouble on the Erskin Music Show. God is no respecter of persons. I try not to let this be the case in my life, and it's probably not. It's probably what gives me the edge of sometimes not being that nice. I'm not also a respecter of persons. If I see something that is going well, and it actually is going well, then I will give credit for what is going well. I.e., when Donald Trump does something that is demonstrably effective and helpful for people. I'm gonna kind of date this because I couldn't use this episode again, but like thinking through reduction of crime, and I know it's probably too early to be able to see the effects of that, but reduction of crime in Washington, D.C., and then maybe looking at doing a reduction of crime in Chicago, New York, other places. If there's things that generally lead to more welfare and industry and growth, I don't have a problem saying I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that there's people who can now walk up and down the streets of DC without feeling like they're about to get mugged, shot, stabbed, or any of those types of things. And so I do think that matters, to be able to say, I really appreciate in this area. I do appreciate what Donald Trump is doing. And very personally speaking, from my vantage point, when he begins to speak about and think about and talk about some of the just absurd things that are happening in the trans movement and gender ideology and gender confusion, and just says, no, the buck stops here. We're not going to continue going down this road. Now, you guys know the pendulum swings back and forth. And so there may be a next administration that is not favorable to those kind of things. And we kind of got to deal with that. But suffice it to say, in those areas where he has stood up for women on the issue of not having boys in girls' bathrooms, men in women's bathrooms, biological males. They're just so common sense. They're just so common sense that you cannot help but support at least that sentiment. The other challenging thing